Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday. Thanks so much for joining us today for what I know will be a really fantastic webinar. My name is Sandy Elson, and on behalf of the travel professional community and homebasedtravelagent.com, I want to welcome all of you and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be with us today. I know you'll find it very educational and rewarding to be here. Our host today is Scenic Cruises, and our speaker is our good friend Randy Goodrich. Randy is a trainer for both Scenic Cruises and Emerald Waterways, and is the business development manager for travel agents in various states, and we'll get to see that list at the end of the webinar, as well as a list of all of the business development managers. As always, we really appreciate the support we get from Scenic and Emerald. Randy's topic today is offer your clients the very best in river cruising with Scenic. Before we get started, please remember that you are all muted, but we welcome your questions. You can type in your questions at any time during the webinar in the question area you see on the right-hand panel of your screen. At the end of Randy's presentation, we'll get to as many questions as we can. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Randy so he can get started. Welcome, Randy.
Thank you very much, Sandy. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm just pretty excited to talk to you all about Scenic. It's a wonderful product, and I'm extra excited because I just got off one of our cruises to Bordeaux, which is a new itinerary for us this year. And I took, about 8 couples, friends of mine, which is always scary to do, and happy to report that they all had a fantastic time. So we'll spend some time here. I'll go over Scenic so you have a better feel for what they offer and which of your clients would be best suited for a Scenic cruise. Bottom line is basically your most discriminating clients who really like to travel in the best style possible with the most all-inclusiveness. So we'll show you how that all works. Thank you again for participating. Just to get my slide forward here. Oops. There we go. So one of the things we focus on at Scenic and our new brochures and what advertising are focusing on is creating moments of wonder, those wow moments like this one here that a client sent to us, a picture of waking up in the morning, going out on their deck and seeing this beautiful sunrise over Avignon, Palais de Pau. So it's moments like that that we want to create for your clients so they'll come back and tell people about it, and that will generate even more business for you. This is a wow moment that I took this picture last May when I took my wife on one of our cruises in the Netherlands. Cruising, having a wonderful cruise, sitting out in our balcony between Amsterdam and Antwerp, enjoying the sunset and beautiful scenery, and then all of a sudden these fireworks go off, and it turned out to be their Remembrance Day, commemorating the end of World War II. So they had these fantastic fireworks out in this village. So a wow moment for us. Very special, unexpected. Another one in the Moselle River Valley, looking at the fog, the mist. So one of the things that recently happened was this third-party River Cruise Advisor. You can visit their site, rivercruiseadvisor.com. They've been on our ship as well as I think every other ship out there. They ranked Scenic as the most all-inclusive of all the river cruise lines. So you can see all the check marks going across. There's a couple that come close, but nobody does everything that we do. So I'll explain to you what all those items are, but it's important to know that. And if you want a copy of that, then go to rivercruiseadvisor.com and you can print that off. So talking about all-inclusive, we include all transfers, whether you purchase airfare from us or not. We include all meals. There's 6 dining choices. Nobody else has. Most of them have 1 or 2, but we actually have 6 separate dining areas that people can enjoy. Of course, all water, soft drinks, wine, beer, and top-of-the-shelf spirits that are available anytime for your clients. And like I said, top of the shelf. So I haven't found too many things on the ships that I might want to drink, or one of my friends might want to drink that we didn't have. Butler service. We have butler service all cabins, not just big suites, but all cabins have a butler assigned. That butler can do many things for them. It can make some of your dining reservations, help you with some short excursion ideas. They'll stock your mini bar every day with whatever you want to drink. They'll bring you lattes in the morning, a certain amount of meal service, depending on the cabin, how big it is. You can have breakfast and dinner in the cabin. And we have balconies. Balconies are on all cabins on the second and third deck. In fact, Scenic was the first river cruise company when we started the business back in 2008 to actually have balconies, full balconies, as opposed to the French balcony. So our ships have a balcony that you can sit on, and people can easily sit there and enjoy the ambiance. And it has a special feature with the sun lounge that we added so that people can enjoy the balcony even if the weather is cold and wet outside. There's a way to close it and make it more comfortable. We have multiple daily excursions included in the price, so not just one or two, but 3, 4, or 5 different excursions. They're all prepaid for, so your customer doesn't have to worry about what it costs. They just worry about deciding which particular excursion they'd like to go on that interests them the most. We also offer at least once a week the Scenic Enrich event, and that is a private event just for our customers. A once-in-a-lifetime type of experience. I'll show you some of those a little bit later. And also, new this year was a Scenic Sundowners. This is an afternoon cocktail party, more or less, where we'll be at a chateau, a castle, some very interesting location on the Bordeaux. We did this at a beautiful winery outside of Saint-Emilion, and we had hors d'oeuvres and wonderful wine in this castle-type area. It was spectacular. We also offer a proprietary GPS tailor-made system. This is a system that allows your customers who are a little more independent-minded to go out on their own and do some touring without the fear of getting lost. And we have e-bikes, which should make it available for more people to enjoy the biking experience. And finally, all tips, gratuities, both on the ship and on shore, are all prepaid. So once again, your customer can focus on having a great time, not worry about the little details like how much to tip, what things cost. Everything's included. It makes a wonderful vacation out of it. Excuse me. We call our ships spaceships. A little strange name at first when you first hear it, but it's because they're more spacious. We have fewer cabins than ships of the same size. So currently we have 12 ships in Europe. 10 of those 12 are the maximum size allowed by the European Commission, and that is 442 feet long, about 40 feet wide, enable them to make it through the locks and under the bridges, whatnot, throughout the European waterways. We have fewer staterooms, so we're allowed, enables us to have a little bit larger staterooms, 22% on average compared to the competition, and our public area is 24% larger. A couple of things this does for us. One is I have more staff, so we have fewer cabins down on the first level to enable to have more cabins for our staff. So we have typically fewer, more staff members per passenger, and it also allows us to have more dining choices because we put some of those dining choices in the public areas, and I'll show you that in a minute. Here's a picture of the sun lounge. So this is the deck. It's a full outdoor deck, but you can see that there's a double pane there. If it's cold, wet, windy, whatever, noisy, you can push the button and that second pane will rise to the top and then close that. So that picture you saw earlier of when my wife and I were on in the Netherlands on that trip, it started getting a little chilly that night. We didn't want to leave. We were enjoying a bottle of wine and the ambiance of the scenery. So we just closed the window and still sat out there until late at night. So it's wonderful. Cabin categories, which is pretty simple. There's only 5 cabin categories, or 4 cabin categories. So the least expensive and smallest space would be down on the first deck. These are a D and E, 160 square feet, which is quite a bit larger than the industry standard on those lower cabins. But it's got all the features. Just doesn't have a balcony primarily. That's what's missing, is the balcony. But we're down at water level, so obviously that's not a good idea. But all the other features that you find in the other cabins are found in this cabin. So they're very, very nice. The standard cabin that you're going to find on board on the second or third deck are categories D through P. They start at 205 square feet. That would be the predominant size, which again is larger than typical 180 square foot or so on most of the other vessels. We also have a deluxe balcony, which is 225 square feet, and at 250 square feet would be your junior suite. They all look pretty much like this. They're just a little bit wider the larger they get. You can't get too much deeper into the ship. It's only so wide. We just make it a little bit wider, a little bit more accessible. People that are maybe mobilely challenged, the junior suites are great because there's quite a bit more room between the bed and the chair there for them to get around the cabin. And they're also located next to the elevators, so we do have elevators. Then when you get into the bigger suites, the Royal Suite and Royal Panorama, you've got this beautiful bathroom. Now, bathroom is pretty similar on the other suites, except it doesn't have a bathtub. So when you get into the bigger suites, you have a bathtub and a full shower. Showers are extremely nice. They have lots of water pressure and multiple nozzles, so they do the job. And L'Occitane lotions and whatnot. The picture on the lower right, that's the Royal Suite. They're 315 square feet, except on the new ships, the Jade and the Opal that we introduced this year. We made that Royal Suite a little bit bigger. Really, really popular. There's only about four of them on board. They're midship. And you see they're kind of a one-bedroom suite. The great big suite, that's the Royal Panorama. So for your customer only wants the best, these are the biggest suites on the rivers, at 475 square feet. Separate bedroom that can be partitioned off. Beautiful deck with some of the nicer chairs out there, lounge-type chairs on the deck. There's a friendly butler serving champagne. They're beautiful, beautiful suites. The dining experiences, as I mentioned earlier, we have 6 dining choices that your customers can partake in. Primary course is the dining room, the crystal dining room, and that easily accommodates everybody on board at one seating. They show up when they want, 7, 7:30, 8, whatever they want. Breakfast is a buffet style. Absolutely anything you think of for breakfast, including a menu of items like eggs Benedict, etc., that they can order off the menu, or they can go to the buffet and get just about anything you think of. Lunches are buffet, but there are also some menu items like hamburgers, etc., that you can order for lunch. And dinner itself is all a la carte off the menu. Wonderful foods, both local. Like in Bordeaux, we have a lot of French food, but we also have international foods and kind of quote Americanized type food, steaks, fish, always. And then you have some other choices. So you have portobellos / l'amore. In France, we call it l'amore, but portobellos is Italian, l'amore is French focused dining. There's a couple there, the 4 of them. They're in that area. That area is in the front of the ship on the where the lounge is. So if you look at the picture in the lower right at the bar, the main bar, we're looking forward towards the front of the ship. That area in the back there, at the very front of the ship, that's what's set up at night for this beautiful dining experience. So it's up above. The dining room itself is down below. So this is up above that, a little bit better view. Takes about 34 passengers per night. Everybody on board will have an opportunity to dine here. It's a wonderful experience. With my little group I was on in Bordeaux, we did this the last night, and looking out at the city of Bordeaux and whatnot, it was really spectacular. And then we have another dining experience I'll show you in a minute called Table Rive. But first, the River Cafe, that is the picture on the lower right. That is a area on the right side of the main bar, pretty good size. In the morning it starts with early rice at breakfast at 6:30 with coffees and teas, lattes, espresso, you name it. Those are made available as well as some light food. And then once breakfast starts downstairs, they reverse into a full-day deli with soup, sandwiches, specialty items, meant to be kind of a lighter fare. Quick and easy, kind of McDonald's style. You can get up there and get something very quick, in and out, or you can have a pack of picnic lunch and you can take that out. So, and then finally, the picture on the lower left, that is just a room service. So, yes, you can have room service in any cabin. It's kind of limited in the small cabins down below just because of size. but those people typically have a latte served in the morning, maybe with a croissant, something like that. But when you get into the bigger cabins, you can have usually have dinner served either on the deck or in the cabin. This is kind of a picture of some of the meals. You've got your full breakfast items, the champagne, mimosas. Have to have those once in a while. Love the smoothies. Every morning it's a different type of smoothie. A lot of people get into that. Those go quite quickly, but there's always plenty. This is all good, healthy fruit here, but there's everything else you can imagine around the corner there. And then for lunch you have both a la carte and buffet, and dinners are spectacular. I don't know how they cook all this for all these different restaurants in that small kitchen, but they do a great job. Yeah, my clients that were with me a couple weeks ago just had a total thumbs up on the food qualities. That was nice. Table to read. This is a private dining experience. This is for, we only have typically 10 people per night that can dine at this table, kind of like a chef's table you'll find on a captain's table even. But it's a wine pairing, 6-course dinner. It can take up to 2 hours to do the whole thing, depending on how many helpings of the wine that people want. Spectacular. The wine is spectacular, the food spectacular, but the ambiance and camaraderie that goes about that table is just better with more wine everybody has, of course. But it's really quite an experience. So we can't take everybody on board. We reserve this for the people who have reserved a cabin on the top deck, Deck 3, the Diamond Deck, or they're in one of the junior suites. They'll be invited to partake in this, and they just tell their butler which night they prefer to go. A lot of the cruise lines include wine at lunch and dinner. Typically it's a red and a white, like it or not. In our case, we have multiple reds, multiple whites, rosé, port wine, you name it. It's hard to find something that they don't have that people like in a particular variety of wine. It's quite spectacular. And we also offer alfresco dining on the deck. So these are especially wonderful dining events, like going through the Rhine Gorge, where you can sit out and cruise along and see the 40 different castles while having a beautiful buffet lunch and have some drink of your choice. Pretty spectacular. In addition, we have the GPS unit I'll show you in a minute, but that will actually tell you which castles, which give you a little history for each castle. Really helps quite a bit. And finally, our room service for their butlers. They're all professionally trained in the Netherlands, and they're quite spectacular. They're multitaskers. I don't think they ever sleep, so they do a great job. That's the onboard experience, which is spectacular. It's like staying in a 5-star hotel in Paris or someplace. But really, a river cruise is all about seeing and experiencing the history and culture of these fabulous destinations that we go to. So in the case of Scenic, we offer everything included, but we have choices. So you don't have to worry about what each one of these costs. It's kind of similar to Regent. If you're familiar with Regent 7 Seas Cruises, the customer has a choice every day of different included excursions, so you can focus on which excursion you want to go to and not worry about what it costs. It's all prepaid. Included also is the Scenic Enrich event, like I mentioned earlier. These are proprietary. It's just our people that go to these events, once in a lifetime type of experience. It's these two pictures. We'll show a couple of the events. The one at the top is in Vienna, our own private Viennese concert and dance in the Palais Liechtenstein. It's a beautiful, beautiful palace owned by the Liechtenstein royalty. Fantastic artwork, etc. Just an ambiance that makes this a very special experience for your customer. The one at the bottom is Palais de Pop in Avignon, France, and we are the only company that's allowed to have a private event within the Palais de Pop outside of the French legislature. So that's quite special. Have a dinner and a concert. So typically one per week. Some of the 10-day itineraries actually have 2 of these events. Then for your customer who has kind of wants to go out on their own sometimes and not always wanting to be with the tour group, we have the tailor-made. unit. This was built for us. It's proprietary just to Scenic. There's 2 of these units in each cabin. They are used to listen to guides if you do go on a guided tour. So if you want to go out on your own, they are preloaded with tours. So if, like when I was in Amsterdam, we wanted to go on a Rembrandt tour, we simply opened it up, said we want to go on a private tour. He gave us a selection of different ones. We clicked Rembrandt, and it started guiding us GPS-wise out to where the statue was and the museum and it's where he grew up and all that good stuff. And also help guide us back to the ship, which is quite important. You can use these either walking about or using them on our e-bikes. You can also use them on board. So if you're on board, like if they're going through the Rhine Gorge, you can have this unit with an earpiece in your ear, and it will tell you things that the ship's going by or coming to, so you can understand what is what. Those capsules are kind of hard to keep track of, so that helps quite a bit. Finally, you can just start walking. Take off the ship and walk. A lot of people won't do that because they're afraid they can get lost. They don't know the language. They don't know the territory. Make a couple of turns, all of a sudden you're turned around. So it will help get back to the ship. So that takes that fear away so people just enjoy it. And if you're walking along and there is something interesting coming up, then it will actually ping and say coming up in 1 block to your right is the museum of such and such, or the statue of this person, whatever. So you don't miss things along the way. And bikes, mostly cruise lines now have bikes. We had those for many, many years, regular bikes. We decided that it was important. People love taking the bikes out, but not everybody's a biker. Not everybody's in great shape like they'd like to be. So we came with the concept of e-bikes, which enables more people to get out and really enjoy this outdoor scenery and the a little closer to how the local people live and what's going on. These people here happen to be in Dürnstein. They're getting ready for their little trek 22 miles up to the Melk Abbey along the Danube in the Waha Valley. It's absolutely fabulous. I've done it. I made it. I survived. And I use the electricity sometimes, not all the time. But it really does create something special. We have several guided trips typically, and you can go out on their own. We have helmets. We help them. I don't know why these people don't have helmets on and models. It's a special occasion, I guess, for them. So our new logo and new kind of mantra is taking your client to the nth degree in service, whatever we can provide. We want to do that. So for 16, we're adding concierge laundry service. A lot of these trips are a little bit longer for people, and they get them early and stay later or whatever. Need to kind of get things washed up. So there's a laundry bag. They just fill that up and give it to the butler. They'll get that taken care of. So just a little extra special. So where do we go? So we go currently throughout the main rivers of Europe. See them here. We're doing all of these right now except the Douro. That starts next year in Portugal. But we're doing all the rest. So you've got the Rhine-Main-Danube cruises. That's the primary cruises. That's what most people start with and want to go on. The Jewels of Europe is your 2-week cruise across Europe between Budapest and Amsterdam. So you got 3 rivers, 5 countries you're going through. And then you've got the 2-week Rhine-Moselle where we add Belgium in with that. Quite a nice unusual itinerary. The highlights of the Rhine is just between Amsterdam and Basel, Switzerland. The Dutch sites and Belgian delights, that's a 1-week cruise during the spring, only the end of April, 1st of May, when the Keukenhof Gardens, all the 7 million tulips are out and everything else. It's absolutely fabulous. Did that last May. The Genesis of the Danube, that 1-week trip between Nuremberg and Budapest, the most popular of all the trips for probably all the river cruise companies. And then you've got the lower Danube, Black Sea Explorer, 11 days, and the 16 days, Vienna down to the Black Sea. Pictures I took at the Keukenhof Gardens back in May, just spectacular. This was just 4 of about 800 I took. And then in France, there's 3 river areas in France. You've got the Seine, We started up last year with a unique itinerary. We have the Rhone. We have both a 1 week and 2 week trip on the Rhone. And then, as I mentioned, the 10-day Bordeaux trip, which I just took. Really, we have clients who like wine. Some of the best red wines in the world come out of here. It's absolutely wine person's paradise, as well as cognac, sauternes, which are more of a sweet white wine. And Bordeaux itself, I was very surprised. Just a beautiful, beautiful, large city, larger than I thought. Very beautiful, tons of walking streets, shopping streets. Everybody enjoyed it. So these are the 4 rivers. I'll go into more detail. The Seine, beautiful area. We stopped on our trip. We went out there and stopped at Giverny, which is where Monet was. That was much more spectacular than I expected. It's just a fabulous area, and he was, of course, a fabulous painter. So there's Giverny down kind of the lower right towards Paris there. Our trip is 11 days, whereas most others are 7. We built a special ship so we could take it right into the harbor in Azure, which is an extremely small, quaint harbor, beautiful. But it gets you closer to the Normandy beaches. You save about an hour and a half to 2 hours bus ride by getting there instead of having to most of the other stop back in Rouen or Caldebec. So it's a very unique itinerary, very popular, selling very, very quickly. That's where the beachheads were set. So you get in there and get to see that. Bordeaux, I mentioned, a beautiful area. There's 2 rivers there, huge tidal current and impression there. Right now, our itinerary starts in Paris with a train, fast train down to Bordeaux, and then getting on the ship and cruising. Very interesting. Really, wine focus is the primary. We went out. We did go to the Remy Martin when I was on the ship, and this was one of the most interesting experiences I've ever had. I do my fair share of wine tastings and whatnot. They did a spectacular presentation, and all of a sudden now I'm starting to drink more cognac. You can also take a shop with the chef little tour if you'd like in France. And then for 16, we have some new products. We're building another brand new spaceship for Europe beyond the Rhine-Main-Danube, giving us 8 to taking care of that particular those itineraries along there. France, the same. Portugal is a new ship for the Douro, and then we have the 1 ship per ship. So the Douro is going to be a unique itinerary compared with anybody else. It's a 10-night instead of 7 nights, so we spend a little bit more time in some of these unique areas. We have 2 Scenic Enrich events, one at Casa de Paco, which is the home of the original king of Portugal, who founded the kingdom, and the second one in Porto. We also have a full-day excursion up to Salamanca, Spain, World Heritage Site, with a beautiful lunch served. It's just really, again, it's going to be a kind of a wine-focused type of trip for your customers. But the area is famous for port, but they also make all other kinds of wine too. So port's just a red wine that's aged on longer to bring out the heavy sweetness and whatnot, but they make tons of Cabernet and other types of wines as well. So we have a unique itinerary. It includes everything that we normally include on our sailings in Europe, except the scenic tailorman and the bikes. It's kind of a rough area, rural, hilly, so that's not working for us right now. It says ship only has 96 guests compared to 169 on our others, except the one in Russia, 112, and the one in the Seine, 128. So depending on the river, that kind of depends on how big the ship is. 1 to 2 staff ratio, fantastic. It does have a pool on board. So again, offers everything except the e-bikes and tailorman. Some unique areas we go to. And then we're introducing Southeast Asia. So Mekong, but instead of the kind of typical wooden ship that you see out there, which are quite nice, our owner, Mr. Maroney, who has started the company in 1986, still owns it, runs it, wanted to come up with a brand new yacht type ship, spectacular, 34 one-bedroom suites on board, really quite something. And we're building a second ship for charters on the Mekong, and a third ship that's going to be 22 cabins for the Irrawaddy. So building a lot of ships this year. And the suites on this ship, the suites on our European ships, the big ones, the two big ones, Royal Panorama, are in the back of the ship. On these ships, they're in the front. Those top ones you can see there on the top deck in the front with this huge 200 square foot balcony out in front with a day bed and jacuzzi on it. But they can enjoy the ambiance of that deck with a little bit of breeze coming too, because it is quite humid there and warm. So I get to mention 34 cabins, 278 feet long. They're all one-bedroom suites. They have the sun lounge decks that can be closed, so you can still enjoy the deck even though it's humid outside. You can close that window so you can still enjoy the ambiance. Pool on board, spa, steam, sauna, wellness center, etc. Open air cinema. 1-to-1 staff ratio, 4 dining choices, butler service in all cabins, laundry service, beverages all day, anytime, any type. All shore excursions include tips, gratuities, transfers, etc., etc., etc. So this is a rendition of the pool area. This would be a dining choice as well. There's the dining room. 1-bedroom suite. This is the small one, 344 square feet. That's the sitting area with the deck out there. A little bit larger, 430 square feet. This is the big one. It's 660 square feet inside, 860 square feet total with the 200 square foot deck with the jacuzzi and the day bed. You can see it's just huge. Walk-in closet, dressing room area. So we start January. We have 40 sailings, sail both directions, up and downstream. There's no overnight sailing. We stay in port each night. And there are some low water issues, so we don't schedule any departures April to June. This is a rendition of the area. So typically we'll start in either Ho Chi Minh City or Siem Reap, and then get on the ship, north or south. If you start in Siem Reap, you're going to fly down or bus down to Kampong Chong and get on the ship and take that down. That lake up there is huge, but it has it's very shallow and there's a lot of low water issues, so they don't typically take that. But I was just there last week. In fact, I was quite surprised by Siem Reap, how big it is, how friendly and nice. I had no idea in Cambodia the currency is U.S. dollar. Makes it quite handy. And compared to Ho Chi Minh City, it's pretty quiet. Ho Chi Minh City is crazy. More motorcycles and mopeds and bicycles and every kind of contraption you think of. Kind of exciting in some ways, a little crazy in others. But it's a beautiful cruise, very interesting area. Lots of shore excursions to get the history of this area. Again, with Scenic, those are all included in the price. We can also combine this itinerary. This is 7 nights on the water, plus 2 in Ho Chi Minh City and 3 in Siem Reap, where you can go up to Angkor Wat and all the other temples that are in that area. It's quite a few. But you can also add North Vietnam, Hanoi, Halong Bay, that area, which is beautiful. You can also combine it with land to Thailand, Laos, things like that. We have many different itineraries available. So with one call, you could make a nice 3, even 4-week trip out of this for your client without having to call 3 or 4 different suppliers. We can do it all for you. Scenic Enrich, we have an exclusive puppet show performance. We actually get to go backstage and see how they do all this. So there's just a price comparison. Also on the River Cruise Advisor that I mentioned earlier, that gave us the most all-inclusive. So it was interesting. Our sister company, Emerald Waterways, actually came out with the best value in river cruising when you consider everything included. But you can also see that Scenic, even though we include more than anybody else, we actually came out less expensive than several other river cruise companies. So it's not as if we're charging an arm and a leg for what we provide. It's actually quite a great value. I think one of the best values especially for your upscale clients that want to have everything included and just focus on the enjoyment of the cruise and not what it's going to cost when they check out. I remember seeing one guy checking out when I was on board a couple of weeks ago. He said, "I need my bill," and they said, "You have no bill." He's just like, wow, that's so cool. So let's talk about booking, how you book, what our incentives are, etc. If you're interested in that picture, that's the picture of my wife, and we're doing that cruise between Amsterdam and Antwerp, and just the look on her face of just soaking in that wonderful environment, and it's just something else. So I had to keep that picture. So we obviously book early. We have early booking incentives of free air or discounted air or air credit, things like that. There's quite a few different ones out there. We have some single supplements available. I didn't mention it earlier, but on our European ships, most of them, we have a single cabin. One single cabin. It is a balcony cabin on the second deck. So it's actually quite a neat little deal. It's just a little smaller cabin, so we put a single bed in there. There's also the business air upgrade choices. The beautiful thing about Scenic is we only charge a $500 deposit. The finals due 90 days prior to departure. So you can book people quite early, get them in for $500 per person deposit, and they don't have to worry about paying the big bill until 90 days prior to departure. A lot of information is on scenicusa.com. This is our website for the U.S. marketplace. We are a global company, so we have separate websites in the U.K., Canada, and Australia, New Zealand. But this would be the USA one. Up in the upper where that arrow is, you can't quite see it, but that's the agent portal. So when you click on the agent portal, you're going to see a lot of different things. This is all going to be changed here in the next few months. But for right now, it looks like this. ExpressBooks is our online booking engine. I'll show you more of that later. But if you want to order brochures, this is where you can order up to 10 brochures. It has our group policy, 5 cabins as a group in our case. And then our sales support team contact information I'll show you in a minute as well. Comparison chart done by a third party. Scenic specialist, you can become a specialist and earn an extra bonus commission for doing so. It also is how you qualify for fam trips, etc. Is to take that program first. A lot of media, a lot of videos, etc. that you can show your customers as well, help you sell. Our booking engine ExpressBooks, now when you come on that agent site, there is a sign up so you can get qualified and get a username and password to use this. It's quite a handy program. It's more than a booking engine. It's actually create a quote real quick or immediately get into inventory without having to be put on hold and go back and forth. You can work with your customer right online. Simply put in the tour code, the dates, and it will come up with a list of current availability on different sailings. So if you look at this, when it opens up each sailing, it's going to tell you the cabin type that's still available. So some of those have quite a few. The second one down has just one standard suite left. Some others. If you click on any of those, it's actually going to show you a picture of the deck plans and the cabins with a number on them. Those are still available. Quite handy if you have multiple people traveling and they want to kind of be in the same area. You can quickly tell them that there's 4, 5, 6 cabins available that they could get right in that same area. So it'll give you the cabin description and everything else, so it makes it easy for you. If you are booking, you can actually go in and get the dietary mobility issue. You want to know those as soon as possible so we can be prepared for them. Any discounts that may apply that are currently available, select one of those. And then if they're not ready to actually book yet, you can send them a quote. So just instead of book, you say quote. It gives you an email like this. The link, the attachment is the proposed invoice for that particular cabin type. And down below it's a click through to the detailed itinerary. So they can share this with their friends, they can call back, and if they call back and say, hey, we're ready to book this, you go back into the booking engine, that quote is right there, front and center, you open it up, and down at the bottom where the circle is, it says convert to booking. So you don't have to go in and try to find that space again. If you had selected a specific cabin, it may or may not still be available, you just select another one if it's not. It makes it very easy for you to send a quote and then convert that quote to a booking. Excuse me. So for 2017, we are taking early bookings on those. And what that means is that you can go in and actually act like your bookings. That particular sailing for 2017, the inventory is not available yet to grab, but we will take the quote. And so you can see here it's awaiting placement on future tours. So it's basically putting on hold. We require a $250 refundable deposit on that. So when it does become available, you'll be contacted. Does your customer still want to take this tour, this cruise? And if so, then they'll have to pay the other $250 deposit. It's non-refundable at that point. So you've got a $500 per person deposit, and you've got the room. So you can select the category of the room, and you can do everything except select the exact cabin because it's not there yet. So it makes it nice. We are a global company. We market globally, so we have people from all over the world waiting to get the space on some of these. So this gives you now the ability to secure those customers that know a year and a half, 2 years ahead what they'd like to do, the opportunity to secure that cabin for them. Because the best cabins go first. The big suites are the hardest to get. The single cabins go first. The royal suites go first. So if you have customers who want that, I suggest you talk to them about 2017 now and secure that. Here's some current savings. This came in this morning, so this is fresh off the press on some discounts for next year for 2016. We also are offering more solo traveler single supplement waivers on very specific sailings, of course. But you can get this. You can jot these down now if you want, and I'll hold this screen for a minute or two, and then I'll go to the screen that has the BBM information on it. So while you're doing that, Sandy, I'll start taking some questions.
Okay. That looks fantastic. Randy, I think we're all ready to start booking Scenic. Just looks amazing. We have a question about demographics. Are there ever families with teenagers? How do you describe a typical range of guests on board? And in conjunction with that, are there rooms that hold more than 2 people?
We don't have any rooms that hold more than 2 people, so that takes care of that. It's not currently. River cruises are not real popular with families, younger people. There's many reasons for that, I believe, but our typical demographic is probably 55, 60 plus. We see that coming down a little bit. But it's the baby boomers, quite frankly, who are quite interested in soaking up more of the history and culture of these areas. It's not that other people don't. It's just not a highlight and focus for them at this point in their life. Kids, kind of tough. A lot of what you do each day, certainly on the Bordeaux trip, that's not going to wineries and stuff. I don't think they'd have a great time doing that. But even on the Danube and the Rhine, you're spending days going into churches, museums, seeing historical places like that. And most kids get pretty bored after 1 or 2 days of that. So it's not really, I don't think any river cruises, I know some river cruise lines are trying to focus a little bit more on that, to increase the reach out there with different clients, but I just personally don't see that as becoming a big deal. So there are tons of business out there in the 55 plus area.
A clarification about the e-bikes. Are those electric assist that will help people pedal if need be?
Yes. Yeah, so there's, for instance, on that 22-mile ride, there were some younger people on that who, it was a fam trip, so we had younger agents and whatnot. They'd never even turned on the electricity. The electricity is basically where you normally shift. So instead of shifting, you turn electricity on, it just makes the pedaling easier. And as you pedal, it also regenerates the electricity. It's a pretty cool system.
Good idea.
I'm going to buy one myself.
And another demographic question, and that is, what's the usual mix of Americans and other nationalities on board?
Well, it's spectacular. I mean, originally, because Scenic is an Australian company, and they started off in Australia in 1986, we have a strong contingent of Australians, especially on the longer cruises, 2 or 3 weeks. because they tend to take longer vacations. But the mix now is, as we started marketing in the UK and North America, is really evening out. In fact, the one I was on in Bordeaux, I would say that it was pretty close between UK, North America, and Australia and New Zealand. And it makes a very interesting mix. So, personally, for me speaking, I'm learning the dialects of English a little bit better. So, I mean, there's definitely a different way the Australians talk and the English talk and even the Canadians and Americans. It's kind of fun. They're all great. The Australians are fun-loving. They're just very, very warm, charming people. Love to have a good time. So I don't see any negatives. It's just be on spend some time with a different culture, but everybody's speaking English.
We had a couple of agents ask specifically about BDM for Maryland, and I'm not sure I see Maryland specifically on this chart. Who would they call if they wanted to speak to a BDM?
Well, Maryland, probably Northeast would be probably Jeannie. They're welcome to call me too. I kind of cover whatever areas that we don't currently have covered. And I've been in Maryland a number of times covering some industry events and whatnot for the company. That's kind of the mid-Atlantic area, which we don't have anybody specifically for that. So any one of us, Richard, who is in Southeast, some of you might know, who used to be with Oceana, or Jeannie, up Northeast, or you're more than welcome to call me, and I'll help you with whatever you need.
Okay, excellent. So agents, if you don't see your specific state out there, or you're not sure which area of the country you would fit into, call the person that's the closest to it, or Randy said that you could call him and he'll point you in the right direction. So thank you for that, Randy. One of our agents wants to know if you charter your ships out.
We do. It has to be done, obviously, quite a ways in advance, because we actually have a number of charters out there, and it seems to be increasing in popularity. Both brands, actually, I was just mentioning Emerald is also a popular charter because of the swimming pool area, which converts into a meeting room as well. We're doing quite a few. I think I mentioned for the Maycom, we got hit because it's a smaller ship. That was only 34 cabins. We got hit immediately with charters, and so the owner of the company said, let's build a second ship and dedicate it to charters. So we have a ship we're building that will be ready later in 2016 that would be nothing but charters. Charters are becoming, for those agents out there who have some contacts like that, wow, what a great way to make some money, and it's great business, and you'll get some repeat clients out of it as well. We do partial charters too. That question comes up. So if you have a group, it's bigger than just a group. It's really a partial charter. You want to charter half the ship or something, then again, talk to your BDM about that, and we'll put you through to the charter department and see what we can do.
Okay, excellent. One of our agents wants to know if the GPS device that you have available also has on it a currency converter. Should they take it when they go shopping?
Not currently, but I think that's one of the things. They're doing a lot of upgrades. It's actually a university in Germany that built that for us, and so as you know, in any technology, the list of upgrades and enhancements just keeps growing. So I know that's one of them. There's also they're talking about putting it so that our customers could talk to each other, communicate. I don't know if it's by phone or maybe by text with each other when they're in a group and one heads south, one heads north, and try to rendezvous someplace. So there's a lot of interactive, social media type interactive stuff that's being added as well.
Okay, sounds great. Does Scenic do Black Sea itineraries, and where are the ports that it hits in the Black Sea?
Well, we don't go into the Black Sea. You can't really navigate, my understanding, from the Danube into the deltas too shallow and buried. We actually take people down to as close as you can get. I can't recall the port itself, and then we'll put them on Zodiacs, and they can go out into the Black Sea, so they've been there, because you can actually do a 3-week trip from the North Sea to the Black Sea would be pretty cool. And then I think that trip is the one that we included also an extension to Istanbul, things like that. One that's on my list. I haven't tried it yet. So
sounds good. Do Scenic and Emerald work with consortia?
We're starting to. It's a process getting into those. We've recently signed a couple deals out there. We also work individually with the agencies more so. So even some of the largest consortia we haven't negotiated with yet, we still have a lot of the agencies that work with us directly. We also work through some wholesalers. So right now, Cox and Kings, if you have a preferred relationship and would rather book through them, you can book Scenic and Emerald through them. And told the press, we'll be announcing another one the first year that I think a lot of the agents work with as well.
Okay, great. You mentioned that transfers are included even if you don't buy air through Scenic. Are the transfers just for embarkation day and debarkation day, or if clients fly in earlier, do you transfer them from the hotel that they're in?
So if they fly in earlier, if they fly in and buy the package, pre-packaged hotel through us, we'll pick them up at the airport, take them to the hotel, and then take them from the hotel to the boat. If they fly in earlier and don't buy that from us, we can't keep track of everybody that way. It's so confusing. So we don't include them except if they get to our hotel, say they go into Paris early and stay someplace, and our hotel is the Scribe hotel, Sofitel hotel there. And if they can get to that, we'll certainly bus them to the ship.
Okay, and we have time for one more question, and it's kind of a two-parter, also about inclusions. You mentioned the 6 dining areas available, and are all of the dining options included in the price, and are the Scenic Excursions Plus included in the price?
Yes, everything's included in the price.
Okay, well, that's an
The
easy
only thing
answer.
that might be the only thing that might be limited is the fact that the table to read is only a table for 10 or 12 people. So because we can't accommodate everybody, that's reserved for people on the top deck or in the junior suites. But other than that, everything is available to everybody at no additional cost.
Fantastic.
The only thing they can pay for is a massage, hairstyle, maybe some trinkets, things you can buy in a small, very, very small gift shop. And there is an extended wine list if they want something over the top for a special occasion. But hardly ever see people use that. And then laundry, if they want laundry currently, we have laundry concierge next year. But they'll have, we'll press some of the clothes depending on the cabin type, a couple a day. But laundry service itself is not included at this point. It will be next year. But it's not very much anyway. And it's very quick. I used it a couple of weeks ago when I was on board, and it was great.
Okay, and the gratuities are all included as well, including to the butlers.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, take that worry away from people. We have some clients, because we're international, some clients tip, some don't tip, depending on their culture. So we just include all the tips and prepay at the highest level possible. So we tend to get the best guides as well. So they know they're going to get a good tip. A lot of our clients are tip in addition. We don't ask them to. We don't suggest it or anything else. But, should they want to, they can do that because perhaps they overuse the butler or something.
Okay, those are great answers. Thank you. Well, that does it for the questions. Our host today has been Scenic Cruises and our speaker, Randy Goodrich, trainer and BDM for both Scenic and Emerald Waterways. Thank you so much, Randy. As always, this has been fantastic.
It's a pleasure. Thank you all very much for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Thank
Contact
you.
us if you need any help.
Great, and the numbers are still up there, so we'll leave them up for another couple of seconds. And thank you so much to all of our agents for taking the time to be with us today. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.